Hello everybody, welcome back to the Craft Beer Hub. This is my year in beer 2022. This is basically a roundup, a kind of roundup of the channel's experience, or my experience with the beer, kind of my thoughts on the year, kind of how it panned out. Not just sort of breweries, bests, worsts, good moments, bad moments. Shouldn't be too long. I've only got a few categories, probably about 5 or 6 categories here. I've got a little cube. I've got a little. If you can see me looking this way, I've got a little bit of cardboard with some things that I've written down on there. But yeah, 2022, turbulent year for the British beer industry. I think you could say there were some fantastic moments, and some not so good moments. But we'll go into in a minute. But what that made was a fantastically interesting year in beer. And I'm going to start off by saying it's my first, obviously 2022 is my first complete calendar year on YouTube. And I want to start this off by saying thank you to everybody that's watched the video, liked the video, commented on a live, interacted with me through Instagram or in the comments on YouTube or anything like that. I want to say thank you because it's been a fantastic year, an absolutely brilliant year, just through how much I've enjoyed it. I've absolutely loved doing this. I've met so many amazing people. I talk to so many amazing people regularly on Instagram. People like Neil Long, Trav, Chris, just to name a few. So yeah, just thank you for being so supportive and interacting. I really do appreciate it, guys. I just want to start off by saying that because I think that's really important. And yeah, there's been some amazing moments in beer. There's been some not so good moments. Let's get into them. I don't want to start on a negative, but I will, just to get this one out of the way. Worst beer of the year. There's been a few worst beers of the year off the top of my head. Really, one of them was the Funky Fluid Neon Raptor Gelato Sour, whatever it was, out of the Trembling Madness Advent Calendar. That was horrendous, absolutely horrendous beer. Hated it. There was that Dutch, what was it called? Craft Nation Pale Ale. There was a Craft Nation Pale Ale from like B&M or whatever it was. That was horrendous. But the worst beer I had all year. And it was a couple of reasons why it was the worst beer. It tasted foul. It was undrinkable. It was awful. There was off flavours. The beer itself, it weren't off flavours where you think, oh, that could have been a really good beer. That it was just a rank beer. It's produced by a big brewery that should know better. And yeah, I just didn't enjoy it. And that particular beer was the Brains Barry Island IPA. I did message because originally it was a collaboration brew between Real Ale Craft Beer Channel, Simon, and Brains, and I messaged him after I had it, and I was like, mate, I knew it had changed. I know he's told the world it had changed on his lives and his videos, but I messaged him. I was like, mate, this is terrible, and he said he was in agreement. He just couldn't believe how bad it had got. There was no quality in it at all. It was out of the Lidl Craft Beer Festival back in the summer, and it was. Yeah, absolutely rank. So that's the worst beer of the year. I'm kind of mix these up a little bit. These categories, so it's all just not the same thing. But I wanted to kind of do a best newcomer in terms of a brewery, a best newcomer, like someone that's a brewery that's kind of come on the scene in the last year, or they won't have to have started in the last 12 months, but they've kind of really burst onto the scene. And there's a couple of contenders here as well. You've got Sure Shot, you've got Asvex, you have got, who else am I thinking of? Well, it was the two contenders really were Sure Shot and Asvex, and only because I haven't tried a lot of the Sure Shot stuff, and I have had quite a bit of the Asvex stuff. Asvex are my best newcomer in terms of brewery. I think their beers are fantastic. They are, don't get me wrong, they are a premium price, the Asvex beers, I understand that, and they are very IPA heavy. They do have a really good stout line as well, that they're really proud of, I know that. And I did have their Vonta Black Creatures, which was the peanut butter imperial stout. That was very, very good. That I believe is a very close beer to Centaur Army. by Neon Raptor that's known for being it's a modern classic beer, that one really. But yeah, I've had some pales from Azvex, I've had regular stouts, I've had impies, I've had IPAs, and they've been fantastic, absolutely fantastic. Like I say, not the cheapest, but it's good beer. It depends on what you want to do with it. For me, I don't mind paying if it's fantastic, if it's a good product, and if it costs money, I don't mind that. I don't buy it all the time. I'm not that loaded. I wish I was, but if it's a good beer, charged at a premium price, generally I don't mind it. So yeah, Azvex are my best newcomer of 2022. So let's take it back down. The worst sort of moment in beer. There's a few here, but the two that scream out to me really was the Brewdog stuff that came out on Dispatches. I believe that was earlier. That was at the start of the year, wasn't it? And you would have heard about all the Brewdog. I'm not going to go into it, but you know, I think I've seen snippets on like Reels and Instagram and stuff. I know James Watt's been on is it called the Mindset of a Millionaire podcast with the new guy that's on Dragon's Den, Stephen. Is it Stephen Bartlett his name is? And he kind of acknowledged a few of the bits from what I've seen. You go and check it out. I need to check it out properly. But yeah, it was just a bad moment in beer. You know, one of the sort of biggest brewers kind of getting it wrong again. On the face of it, as according to Dispatches, which was it was a very one-sided, very loaded documentary, and it was very important to give a balanced view on that. But yeah, it was just a bad moment in beer for me. Another bad moment in beer is it's something that's really happened since the summer, and that is just the sheer number of British breweries that have closed or downsized. Or I mean, there's a beer. What's his name? Beer Nouveau. There's a website. I think there's a beer guy on Instagram, or there's a beer writer, or there's a website called Beer Nouveau. He's done a list of the British breweries that have closed in the last 12 months, and just go and have a look at some names on there. I mean, Three Sods, Nomadic, Wild Beer, they went into administration. I don't know if they've closed now, I don't know their situation, just to name a few. You've got Skinner's Brewery. There's loads, absolutely loads. I mean, Nomadic, their beers, I hadn't ever had their beers before. I went and had a few beers with them at their bar at Brew London, and one of their particular beers, I can't remember which one it was, it won the best beer in the whole place, and there must have been 40-50 breweries represented, probably serving upwards of 200-300 different beers, and one of their beers won the best beer at the beer festival. And it's just and they've gone pop. You don't know the reasons. Obviously, you don't know the reasons why they've gone pop. You don't know the reasons why any of these breweries have gone. Is it cost of living? It could be bad management. Who knows? But that's not my concern. Just the amount of breweries that are closing down. It's just absolutely insane. And I just got my fingers crossed out there. Fingers crossed for all the breweries out there that are still giving it a bloody good go, and that are fighting against everything that's been thrown at them. So yeah, stick in there, guys, please, we need you. So yeah, my worst moment in beer is just the amount of breweries that are closing. Yeah, I feel for you guys. And if I'm going to give out any advice, don't do dry January. The breweries need you the most right now. This month's always hard for breweries. My advice to you would be, don't do dry January. Go out and buy some beer from your local brewer. Best moment for me personally in 2022 through YouTube. There's a few. I mean, BeerX in Liverpool was amazing. It was my first ever sort of beery adventure. It was the first time I met John from Lord's Brewing Company. It was the first time I met Paul from Paul's Beer Reviews. It was the first time I met Simon from Real Ale Craft Beer. Guys that I'd spoken to for a long time and followed for a long time. Going out in Liverpool was just amazing. The event was insane. GBBF was a fantastic day. Absolutely fantastic day. Excuse me. Still getting over that coldy thing. The go-karting back in May when it snowed, with John, Paul and Crummy and Abby, Paul's partner. that was just an amazing day. All loads of YouTubers there, like Jimmy Broadbent, Super GT, if you're familiar with those racing guys. That was a really good day. There were just so many good days, but the best moment and the best weekend, the best sort of thing for me was Brew London in May last year. That was just incredible. It was just the whole setup of the event. Obviously, it was kind of a craft focused beer festival more than like GBBF was, so that's kind of suited me down to the ground. But it was just the way the event was run, the people that were there, the vibe, the atmosphere. It was just a brilliant weekend. We had such a good laugh. There's so many memories. So yeah, the best sort of moment for me in YouTube was when I went to Brew London. That was brilliant. Right, we're kind of down now to the last two, really, the big two. The first being Brewery of the Year, and the last one, should I say, is actually going to be Beer of the Year. My favourite beer, the beer that just blew my socks off the most. Brewery of the Year, then. Now, this is always a funny one. I've kind of done it. I've kind of done Brewery of the Year. A brewery that I've tried I've tried a lot of beer from across a multitude of styles, and just a brewery that's beers I just really enjoyed. There were a few little contenders here. Pressure Drop. I really enjoyed Pressure Drop's beer over the past 12 months. Quantock down in Devon, Somerset. I can't remember now. Really enjoyed their beers. Drunk a lot of their beer this year. Duration, drunk a lot of their beer this year across some different styles. Three Hills, there were some really strong contenders in there, but the winner for me is Quantock. Now, they were kind of known, if you don't know who Quantock are, they kind of hit the scene quite hard in the last sort of 12 months. They've gone and bought a massive brewing kit, all-in-one brewing kit. It was a huge investment for them, hundreds of thousands of pounds. But I went down there just before they got that kit installed, and I went to their tap room. I believe it was the Six Nations. England were playing. I just remember that on a Saturday. I halved my way through their beers, and there were some beers there like lots of dust and stuff flying around this room. Sorry. I had some sours. I had their QPA, which is their Quantock Pale Ale, which is their standard. I had their Titanium. Their single British hop or single hop series of pale ales. I had a few of those, and I bought loads in can as well. And I just thought that they'd done a fantastic job across all the styles. I think generally speaking, there were a couple of beers in there that like properly blew me away with how good they were. But pretty much every single one of their beers was a solid 4 out of 5, straight across the board. There were no bad uns in there. I just thought they absolutely nailed it. The welcome that they gave me, not through YouTube, but just being a punter, just turning up to their tap room. The welcome that you get when you go into their tap room, their staff are super friendly. I spent a bit of time buying cans out of their fridges. There was a guy there explaining it to me. I bumped into them 3 times over the course of the year. I bumped into them or twice, 2 or 3 times. I spoke to them a lot at GBBF. I bumped into them the first time at BeerX, their owner and their kind of operations guys. Lovely people, selling fantastic beer across a multitude of styles. They've hit the craft scene really hard, and they've done amazingly well at it. So my brewery of the year this year is Quantock Brewery from down in Somerset, or down in the West Country. And now the biggie, Beer of the Year. There's been some good ones. Just if I look at this shelf, the Bay Road Brewing. Trav sent me a New England IPA from Bay Road Brewing that was insane. Queen King Knave, a New England Pale Ale, that was amazing. What else we got up here? The Hofbrau Oktoberfest beer was just fantastic this year. Loads of tried so many different beers. I'm just trying to think of some of the beers that I've had on the channel. There were some amazing beers. That Schwarzbock from St Mars was an incredible beer. If I could have given it a 6 out of 5, I would have done it. It was just amazing. But the best beer I had all year in terms of quality and just something that really made me smile and enjoy was a beer from Sure Shot. Sure Shot Brewing, I don't think they've been going long, and we were at BeerX, and Sure Shot, I think they were a client of SSV. Now SSV make brewing equipment, fermentation vessels, all-in-one brewing systems, amazing stuff. Go and see, if you want to go and have a look, go over on Paul's Beer Reviews channel. We've done an amazing walk around. I actually filmed it. An amazing walk around video of one of their guys on this all-in-one brewing system, amazing bit of kit. But SSV had a fridge, and in the fridge was beers from the different client breweries, beers from breweries that they kind of supplied to, and they handed me a beer called Bring Me the Head of John the Accountant. So the name just made me smile straight off the bat. It was a double IPA. It was around 8%, and it was incredible. The review is somewhere on the channel. I think the title is the best double IPA I've ever had, and it was, and it still is to this day, the best double IPA I've ever had. It was my first Sure Shot beer, and it knocked my socks off. And since then, they've opened a tap room, I believe, is it Manchester? I believe it's Manchester, and I'm not surprised that. I mean, their beers are everywhere. They're all over Instagram, bottle shops' Instagrams, people's Instagrams, beer nerds. I follow a lot of beer nerds, and I'm a beer nerd, so I can say that. I follow a lot of beer nerds on Instagram. Everyone's raving about Sure Shot, and I absolutely understand why. Just from this one beer. Since then, I've had a couple more of their beers, and I just got, actually, where is it? I did just get a beer recently from them. Trust me, I did. Where is it? There it is. And I just recently got this from them. This was on the, I just done an order with Trembling Madness. So this particular beer is called Ground Control to Monty Don, and it's a New England IPA. That will hopefully come to the channel. That's got Sabro in it. I think it's got Sabro. No, I'm lying. It's not got Sabro in it. But yeah, amazing. That particular, I'm kind of moving backwards, but that particular beer, Bring Me the Head, John the Accountant, it was a fantastic beer, loads of quality, amazing flavours, amazing mouthfeel. Yeah, that was absolutely my beer of the year this year. There were so many contenders in that department, but I just kind of looked past that one. Thanks very much for watching, guys. Like and subscribe if you'd be so kind. I hope you enjoyed the video, something a bit different, but yeah, that's my 2022 roundup. Any questions about it, drop me a message on Instagram or get in the comments. Probably comments are better, actually. And yeah, I'll endeavour to get back to you. Thanks very much for watching, guys. Like and subscribe if you would be so kind. I will see you on the next one. Cheers.